Hello, my name is Cameron Bruner, and this is my business initiative presentation. So, the need for my services is that in the modern age, many entrepreneurs are very unaware of the optimal ways to operate a business. Many new people come in to create a business, and they don't really have a very good grasp or handle on the needs they have for their cybersecurity or what they should be doing optimally, and this can lead to a very inefficient way for them to lead their company, which can lead to profit losses, and in the worst case, closing down their business for good before it even gets off the ground. So my business, Security, analyzes the technological aspects of a company, business, or enterprise, and discusses points of strengths and weaknesses inside their operations. So my services that come in to look at a company, perform tests and analysis based on the level of security they have, and then relay that information back to the consumer after those operations are done. And based on the results of the evaluation, the buyers will have an option to upgrade their existing systems for a price. So if their scores are not to their standards, my services also have the opportunity to upgrade and make their security much tighter. So for the fire forces analysis, the bargaining power of suppliers isn't necessarily high or low, since the service is entirely dependent on how a business organizes their data and how good their cybersecurity is. Everybody that has a business, people that are just starting out or people that already have a business, it depends on how they'll operate their company. Some of those people may be technology savvy, so they don't really have a need for my services as much as a person who's just started out and doesn't know a lot about computers or databases or online security. The bargaining power of buyers is low, since buyers of the service have out of date technology. So this would also are this would be good for my company, since people that seek out my services, they'll need to they'll need to come to me specifically, or not come to me specifically, but they'll need to come to my service in order to see if their security is up to date, up to snuff, and good for the current online standard. The threat of new entrants is somewhat high, since the knowledge of computers and how to utilize them for businesses is becoming more common. A lot more courses in college classrooms and even high school at some level teach about business management. And so by the time those people in college create their own businesses and become entrepreneurs, there there is a good chance that they will already have some kind of understanding on how to operate a business online and how to run their databases efficiently with minimum amounts of risk. And the threat of substitute services is low because of the unorthodox nature of the service. A service like this would take a lot of manpower and knowledge specifically to operate efficiently. So many of these kinds of services do not pop out of the blue. And finally, the rivalry amongst existing competitors is also scarce for the same reason as the threat of substitute services, that kind of niche my services fit into, which can't really be completed by other people. The SWOT, the strength, weakness, or opportunity and threat analysis. The strength of my services lie in the flexibility of the service. People that just want to test their databases and their operations, they can contact my services. They don't. They don't. They may not necessarily want an upgrade, but they still want the opportunity to test themselves and see if they do need the chance. And people that do know that they are in need of an upgrade can also call my services or contact my services. That way, they can get to a place that they'd like to be at. And the weaknesses of my services is that the process of learning different databases and software is very costly. Since there are so many different operating systems and softwares that do exist for use for businesses, I would have to hire specialists in each different fields, or in many different fields and operating systems that have very specialized knowledge. That way, I can cover a large amount. I can cover a large amount of bases and still see a kind of return in business. And for that reason, my company wouldn't update or analyze businesses that run on Linux, since it is a very unique and very broad operating system. And opportunities like scarce competition in the area and the ever-present need for my services make it much more likely that my business will be successful far into the future. And because of this upgrading or the updating nature of technology and how something new will replace the old keeps the use of my services, or keeps my services in use constantly. But that would also require more learning on the part of my employees for databases, and more money to spend to get them the training that they need. And one main threat to my business is the idea of other businesses hiring technology specialists onto their team to perform the analysis, leaving my services redundant or useless. If a company does have a specialist on their team to analyze cybersecurity, which is somewhat rare depending on the business, there wouldn't really be much place for my services to work in, or for me to send out my employees to assist. And finally, for the strategy, as a general strategy to operate the business, the cost leadership strategy seems to be the most fitting. Maximizing profits by reaching out to a large pool of buyers seems to be the best choice, since it is so costly. Reaching out to as many people as possible within a realistic standard would see the biggest return on profit, or the biggest return on investments for my services.